Gang, I'd like to welcome new sponsor, True Hemp Science, full spectrum CBD products to the show. Now, gang, I've been using these products for a couple of months now, namely their number 81 Relax and Sleep CBD oil. You can find them at truehempscience.com. Now, listen, gang, they create handcrafted quality, full spectrum CBD products by sourcing the highest grade hemp from around the world. All unique, all top quality. They offer a complete line of CBD products, including full-spectrum CBD oils, tinctures, CBD skincare lotions, CBD sports rubs, which I've been using, CBD gummies, which I tried, and they're absolutely fantastic, and the CBD gluten-free chocolates. By choosing True Hemp Science, you know it's going to be good, so you can stay focused. Now, gang, I was having some trouble sleeping, and I was having some pain in like the palm of my hands, both of my hands. It was weird, and it was getting weird when I was playing. And a couple of months ago, I was at a farmer's market, and I ran into this guy Simon, and his and he was out there with the True Hemp Science like booth. And I got together and started talking with him, and I got some balm for my hands to try and like ease the pain, and the pain actually went away. And I ended up getting the number 81 Relax and Sleep True Hemp Science CBD oil. It's a full spectrum CBD oil. It's absolutely fantastic. I've been sleeping like a baby. This last weekend, I went to Vegas to play a show, and we got in the night before. I was up really late, and I woke up really early, and I was having a hard time trying to get a nap in before this big show we were playing for this convention. And I had a couple of drops of this CBD oil, number 81, the Relax and Sleep thing, and it helped me sleep for 4 hours. And listen, gang, I've been waking up really, really rested, like feeling like I had slept, you know, like not waking up like, oh my God, what do I have to do? Or like waking up like, oh, I need to sleep more. It's like I wake up, I stretch, and I just feel like, wow, I really slept. Go to truehempscience.com and use the code HDIGH and get something special. Purchase $65 worth of regular price products and receive 296 milligrams of their number 81 distillate. Number 81 is great for rest, relaxation, and sleep. That's the one I'm talking about. That's the one that's been helping me sleep, helping me wake up rested, and feeling ready to take on the day. Focused and ready to go. That's True Hemp Science. Find them at truehempscience.com. Attention Austin guitar players and bass players. Are you in need of setup or repair on your axe? Well, I have the guy for you, gang. That's Jason Swedberg over at J. Scott Luthery, and you can find him at J. Scott Luthery on Instagram. Now, if you listen to the show, you know I've been talking about Jason for years. Why is that? Because I've been taking my guitars to Jason for over 20 years. Not only does he do the best job, but he has the best prices and the fastest service in town. Again, find him at J. Scott Luthery on Instagram. Not only is he doing an amazing job repairing and setting up guitars, he is now building guitars. That's right. He built me an SG Junior, which I have, and it sounds amazing. It feels great. It's the very first SG Junior he ever built. I've got a J. Scott Luthery SG Junior. You can go see him at J. Scott Luthery on Instagram. Get a guitar built. Get your guitars fixed. Get them set up. It's time, man. They've been hanging on the wall all through COVID. Now it's time to get them out, get them fixed, and get out there and play. J. Scott Luthery on Instagram. Let's get down.
And you may ask yourself, well, how did I get here?
It's time for How Did I Get Here? Now here is your host,
All right, hello, I'm Johnny. I'm your host. Welcome to the show. I hope you guys have all had a good week. I hope if you live in Austin and you're listening to this show, you're staying cool, staying in the shade, drinking lots of water, wearing that sunscreen, doing everything you can to stay out of this insanity. It's going to be 106 on Saturday and Sunday. Isn't that nuts? So anyway, I know you hear it from the news and you hear it from everyone else, but just in case you're like, well, I just need to hear it from one more person and then I'll drink more water. Well, this is Johnny telling you, drink more water. It's been a great week. Skyrocket played on Tuesday at ACL Live, Moody Theater. Always great, man. It's so fun playing there, and it has this effect on you. You know, you play, no matter who you are, you're always playing like different levels of like, you know, first class, second class, third class gigs, whatever it is in your realm. So, you know, obviously when we do like, you know, sad gigs, they're pretty sad. But when you play it at ACL Live at Moody Theater, Like, Steely Dan had been there on Sunday and Monday, and then we played there Tuesday. You know what I mean? Like, it's first class. Everyone there is real cool. They help you set your shit up. They're like, oh yeah, man, wherever you set your thing. It's not some guy yelling at you. Beautiful backstage with snacks, your name on the door with like a little photo of your band and everything. Like, hey, they make you feel good. They make you feel welcome. So it's always fun playing there. The crowd was insane. It was a private event, but it was completely sold out and packed. So it was very exciting. We got to play with Shiny Ribs. We never really get to play with other bands. So that was really fun. Shiny Ribs is such a great band. Kevin's been on the show. Shiny Soul Sisters have been on the show. Always an entertaining show with those guys. And following them was like, oh shit, we better step it up. So we did, and it was a great show, great fun show. And today, the day that I'm recording this intro, I actually went and did like a talking head for this television show called Music's Mysteries or something on Access TV. I don't have cable, so I don't know what the show actually is. But it's interesting. It'll air in August, and I'll tell you when it does. I talked about Chris Christopherson landing a helicopter at Johnny Cash's house. I talked about Napster killing the music industry. I talked about the song "Who Let the Dogs Out." Yeah, that's a weird one. If the Secret Service came to see Eminem during the Trump administration because of weird shit he said in songs, and there was another one. What was the other one? Oh, the Huey Lewis Ray Parker Jr. lawsuit. So anyway, it was fun doing that. I want to thank my friend Trish for hooking me up with them, and it'll air in August. So I'll let you know when it does. Gang, I have a great show for you and a great big show for you today. I have to tell you that Grammy Award-winning, Austin-based songwriter and guitar hero Eric Johnson is my guest on the show today, one of my guests. I'm very, very excited to get to talk to Eric. I've been following his career since I was a teenager, and I've always thought he was just really, really great. And I've seen him play like a number of times. But he has some big news. He is actually releasing 2 separate albums, The Book of Making and Yesterday Meets Today, on July 29th. They'll be available wherever it is you stream and download your music, but they'll also be available on CD, LP, and, wait for it, cassette. We actually talk about that. That's true. And listen, if you pre-order the album now, when you purchase both albums, you unlock Takeouts, which is a special 7-song bonus album with 7 more songs. Now, Eric's had a very, very prolific career. He's done all kinds of different records, like electric records, acoustic records. He won all kinds of accolades. As I said, Guitar Player of the Year. It's been 25 years since he started the G3 tours with Joe Satriani and Steve Vai. They're on the cover of Guitar Player magazine right now as we speak. If you go out there and check it out, it's Joe Satriani, Steve Vai, and Eric Johnson, G3. They've been doing these tours now for 25 years. You can find him at ericjohnson.com. He's actually going to be hitting the road a lot in 2023 with the Treasure Tour, off and on throughout the whole year. So go to ericjohnson.com for all of your Eric Johnson needs. In fact, his records, the Book of Making and Yesterday Meets Today, come out July 29th. He does have some singles that are available now. One of them you will hear before he talks, which is Sitting on Top of the World. But before we talk to Eric Johnson, we talk to my dear old friend Zak Loy, who plays guitar with the band live. Now, I've known Zak since he was a teenager. He came to my house to write songs with me with his brother, Bo Loy. Zak Loy and Bo Loy had a band called Dame's Violet in the late 90s and early 2000s. This is going to lead into how exciting this story is. Anyway, Zak Loy is turning 40, and he is celebrating with a big show next Wednesday, June 15th at Antone's. Now, this is who's on the bill. It's insane. Alpha Rev, who Zak played with. Dame's Violet, who Zak played with. Mother's Anthem, who Zak played with. Lang Freeman from Sounds Under Radio. Me, Johnny Gowdy. I'll be getting up and playing some Gowdy songs with Zak and with this amazing drummer named Robin Diaz, who has played with everyone from Courtney Love to Ed Kowalczyk from Live and all kinds of people. And my dear old friend Einar Peterson, who was in the band Gowdy. We're going to play some songs together. But he has Rachel Vett from the Vets, Matthew Ostrander, Bottle Cap Mountain, and Western Union, man. There's going to be a lot of jamming, a lot of hanging out and playing, and a huge celebration, and all the proceeds go to benefit to Cure a Rose Foundation, which is our dear friend Casey McPherson's foundation that he started to help his daughter with a very, very rare disease that he's been really, really applied himself and really, really done everything he can to raise money for this foundation. Anyway, You can get tickets at antonesnightclub.com. As I said, that's Zak Loy turns 40 next Wednesday, June 15th, 2022. So before we talk to the amazing Eric Johnson, let's talk to my dear old friend, Zak Loy from the band Live. Let's get down.
Over the moon about it.
Yeah, you should be. I can't believe you're 40. Like when you first sent that text, I was mad at first. I was like, no. That only means curtains for the rest of us, man.
Oh man, I know it's pretty surreal. You know, I Mark Proct actually helped me like kind of get the date and put the thing together, and I texted him first, and I was like, he's like, how old are you again? What did you just say? You know? Yeah,
that's how everyone's probably acting. So, okay, so all right. So let's first of all say this is Zak Loy turns 40. It's June 15th, Wednesday, June 15th, next Wednesday, at Antone's here in Austin, Texas. Doors at 7, show at 8. Tickets are $25, VIP $75. And the lineup is Alpha Rev, Dames Violet, Mother's Anthem, Lang Freeman from Sounds on the Radio, Baxley, who I remember the name of that band, but I don't remember that band. Was it the guy from Mother's Anthem? Yeah, it's a singer from Mother's Anthem, but that's kind of his new thing or whatever. Yeah. Oh, okay. So it's a pretty new, it's a pretty new, thing. So he's kind of like, I guess out of the lineup, he's the only like new. He's only played like a handful of shows so far. So that's cool. Yeah. And then Rachel Vett from the Vets, who I met through you because you produced them, right? Yeah. And then she was on the show during South by Southwest one year. It's going to be good to see her. I've always wanted to see her play live. And she's great. Matthew Ostrander, is that someone that you play with? Ostrander. So Matt, he played guitar in. We've done a few things together, but he played guitar in Blue October for a little while. He toured with them for about a year or so, and wrote some music with them. And after he left Blue October, he started this solo venture. So and is that when Will Mack took over? I guess Will technically started playing guitar with them after he left. Yeah. Okay. Mm-hmm. Now, were you in Blue October? No, I never played with Blue October. But Julian did. Julian played with Blue October for a second. So when I think that story when Justin broke his leg on tour or something like that, and he was in a wheelchair. So it was difficult for him to play guitar and perform and, you know, like all that. So they brought Julian in, and then Julian ended up staying for a while, and he left Blue October, and then we started doing Mother's Anthem. And then right after Mother's, he went and did like a small little stint with Blue October again. Okay. So, yeah. Right. This is so confusing unless you were actually there. You know there's a lot. It's everybody's everybody's so like, I mean, it's a big family, you know, we're all connected in some strange way. So, yeah. Okay. So back to the list of bands, Bottle Cap Mountain. Who's that? So that's Stuart Gersman, who is an old friend of ours, and Dames Violet, actually. Like, we used to do a bunch of stuff together. And when Dames Violet had our Alter Ego cover band, on some nights when Bo kind of got a little out of hand, or just like was kind of sick of singing songs, Stuart would always get up and sing for him. So we've had a long relationship with him, and this is his new band. I don't know if you know Ron Flint at all, but I love Ron Flint. Okay, so Ron's son plays drums in Bottle Cap Mountain. Okay. All right. Yeah, so they're connected to the family, as well. I remember when Dames Violet had the offshoot cover band. I remember distinctly you guys playing Sledgehammer at Lucky Lounge. Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we did every Monday at Lucky Lounge for quite a while. Modelo Mondays at Lucky Lounge. And dude, we drank a lot of Modelo, man. Oh my gosh. I bet you did. Yeah. It's so funny to think back in those days, and I guess people can hear us laughing, that just even the fact that we made it through. Yeah. That's sort of like late 90s and early 2000s, like insanity. Oh my gosh. I mean, remember Lucky Lounge when before they instilled the smoking ban. Oh my gosh, that place was insane. So smoky.
Yeah, dude.
I remember
So
with
smart.
being with Crazy Jamie, and I guess the statute of limitations has passed, but I threw up behind one of the couches upstairs.
Nice. Oh yeah, dude. Oh man.
Poor Jamie. Western
Yeah.
Union Man, who's that?
So Western Union Man. So I toured with. So Nick J is a bass player in that band,
Okay.
and I toured. I toured with Nick J. He played with Ed Kowalczyk's solo band for a little while, and then Clint Simmons, who is a drummer for that band, he played in Alpha Rev. Well, I guess Nick also played in Alpha Rev for a second.
Okay,
too.
that's what I was going to say. That's where I know Nick from.
Yeah. So they both played in Alpha Rev, and then Clint came out and did some percussion with Live on our very last tour that we did. And they're actually in the Band of Heathens now. So they're the rhythm section for the Band of Heathens, and this is Clint's instrumental project called Western Union Man.
Okay.
So it's an all instrumental band with a bunch of killer musicians, and yeah, it's really fun to watch. So yeah.
So, and also I'm on the bill. I was saving myself for last. But also there's going to be like an Endochine reunion, which like those guys, like I thought like the fact that I have kind of like been able to be friends with both of those dudes in a very fluid way. Yeah. There would be some kind of like, hey, let's all do this thing together at some point. And they're like, no, it's all right. Not like vehemently no, but they're like, it's all right.
No.
So would you just say like, hey, you guys want to do this? Like, sure.
Yeah, well, so I mentioned it to Casey first. I was like, dude, how, I was like, you can say no, dude. It's all right, you know, but I had this idea. I thought it would be really cool. Like, would it be okay if I asked, you know, Nathan to come up and sing a couple songs? And he was like, dude, people would freak out. That would be great. I would love that. So he immediately was like, cool. And so I was like, okay, well, I'll see what Nathan says. And Nathan, same thing. Nathan was like, oh, that sounds like fun. So, and I talked to Nathan on the phone yesterday. Actually, we were kind of catching up and stuff. And Matt Noveski, who plays with Blocktober, he's playing bass with Alpha Rev that night.
Oh, awesome!
And so it'll be great to have him on board. And so he asked me, he was like, dude, I mean, when was the last time Nathan and Casey were even on stage together? And I was like, to my knowledge, not since Endochine. So I asked Nathan. He's like, oh yeah, no, not since Endochine. You know, like our last Endochine show. So. I mean, gosh, what has that been? 20 years?
17 years? Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. 17 years. Yeah, man, that's freaking unreal. Yeah. So it's going to be pretty epic and I know a lot of people are excited about that as well as I am, just because, I mean, those guys really created some beautiful moments in music together. So it'll be awesome to see them together, you know?
They were like one of those bands that you know is going to do something incredible, but they were also like pedal to the metal going towards a wall really fast. So it was like at some point someone had to pick them out of that like out of their own way or not. And it just like, it ran into the wall and everyone was like, no.
The internal chaos was just out of control. And I mean, it created a really beautiful energy on stage, you know, that chaos that they had created.
Exactly.
Yeah, but you know, it was just inevitably wasn't sustainable, you know. So
I was in the chaos, and it was so.
Yeah, you toured with them the last few years, right?
Yeah, for like 9 months, but it was a pretty intensive touring 9 months.
Yeah.
Like it was like when day 2 came out, and they needed an extra guy to kind of pick up the pieces of all the stuff that they had recorded. So
such a great record.
Such a great record. So you're playing. You and this guy Robin Diaz, who, by the way, now we're in touch. He's going to do the podcast when he's in town.
Oh, fantastic!
Like in a couple days
so
after
great.
the show. Yeah. Thank you so much for introducing me. What a nice guy.
Oh, dude, he is the best, man. Like, I mean, he's had so much success in this industry, and you know, someone for his like himself who's had as much success as he's had. You know, you think he'd come across like, you know, very arrogant and like this, you know, kind of like self-righteous kind of guy. Cause I mean, you know, it happens, you know, but, but dude, he is so down to earth and just like the nicest dude. And that's, you know, that's why I'm, you know, like I decided like I really wanted him to be a part of this, because he's become, you know, a really good friend of mine and part of my family too, you know, and as well as all these guys, it's just a group of musicians who are all like extremely cool and very successful. And, just like, it's a kind of a rarity. And the fact that I get to have them all in the same room at the same time is just going to be, unbelievable. Yeah.
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 It's so funny that you put this whole thing together. Like, it's almost like trying to put together Live Aid.
Yeah. Oh, dude. And like when I first started talking to Rachel about it, Rachel Vett, she was like, I mean, this is going to be pretty hard, Zach. And I was like, I don't think it's going to be that hard, and honestly, it was so much easier than, everybody was just so like, I think everybody's so excited about, just being able to all be in the same room together and play all these songs and like play all this old music that, we all love and admire. And, there's people out there that still feel the same way about it, as we all do as musicians and the stuff that we created, so it's just going to be an awesome thing. I think everybody's just so on board. And one of the reasons I did it on a Wednesday night is because obviously that's like the best night for musicians. Hardly anybody's working on Wednesday. So because I got a couple of I had several fans like text me like, "Why are you doing it on a Wednesday?" And it's like, well, I mean, musicians they're working on the other days of the week. So yeah. So
I think one thing we should bring up, especially about Casey McPherson, who's doing the Alpha Rev and the Endochine set. That the proceeds of this go to the foundation that he started, to Cure a Rose Foundation, which his daughter has a rare disease, and I've really never seen a guy like those of us that knew Casey 17 years ago would never think of him as a dude like raising all this money to. I mean, obviously he's got a real fire under his, but
he's got right, and that's what. He's really, his whole life story is really inspiring. I mean, he's one of those guys that has gone through a lot of, a lot of emotional trauma, and he continues to excel in life and continues to succeed, and he's a really inspirational person. And now that he has this and he's doing this thing with the foundation and everything, it's really incredible. So I texted him a few weeks ago and I was like, dude, I love you so much. I've worked together. I've worked with him for such a long time, on and off over all the years, really since Endochine broke up, I was playing guitar with him his very first show after Endochine broke up. So
I remember that.
So, and, so to see him do this, I was just like, man, I just want to do anything I can to help and support this, So this idea came up, and I'm using my birthday as an excuse to have fun and celebrate, the life of Casey's daughter, but also, raise a bunch of money for the foundation as well.
Yeah.
So,
One of the things about everybody coming together and doing this is really a testament to how cool you are, and having known you since you were a teenager. I really wanted to do this. Like, I reached out to you yesterday because I was like, I think he should kind of know that you're like one of the coolest people, like on not just because you do cool shit or you're a fucking amazing guitar player or you really apply yourself to stuff. Ever since you were a teenager, I remember Tracy, my ex-wife, doing a photo shoot with you guys, maybe before I really met you, and her going like, man, I'm going to be best friends with that dude. And you were like 15 or 16. I was so young, and yeah, man, that was a really cool time. And I remember it was when you guys were all living in Hyde Park, on that street. I was telling the story the other day. Street. Oh yeah, dude, it was so great. And I would just come over, like I wouldn't call anybody or let anybody know. I would just like kind of pull up and like get out and be like, oh, there's Johnny. Hey guys, what are you up to? Like just like start kind of like hanging out with you guys whenever you guys were over there. But yeah, Spencer was over there, and James Violet, ended up writing some songs with Spencer, and we're gonna play one of those. One of those. Oh, really? Is he coming?
Yeah. I haven't spoken with him. We unfortunately kind of have lost touch a little bit over the years, and I know he has been going through some stuff, over the last few years, and kind of been all over the place. So I don't know. Do you talk to him much lately?
Yeah. We reconnected.
Oh, fantastic!
Yeah, because I lost touch with him too. But we reconnected, and we ended up. I went to dinner with him for his birthday last September, and I haven't really seen him since, but I've talked to him.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. Is he living in Austin again?
Yeah, he's living in Austin.
Oh, man, that's awesome. Well, maybe we should get in touch with him and see what he's doing. Yeah.
Crazy Spencer, baby. So,
yeah, man.
So Matt's gonna play with Alpha Rev. Who's Will Knack gonna play with?
So Will Knack is playing with Baxley. So Baxley is going to be Robin Diaz, Will Knack, Nick J, myself, and then of course Kirk Baxley singing. And then after the Alpha Rev Endochine set, I'm going to get up a couple of those monster guitar players, and we're just going to kind of play a couple cover songs and like solo all over each other and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, dude.
So Will Knack, the first set of guitar players will be myself, Will Knack, Jacob Peterson, who tours with the Steve Miller Band, and Cale Richardson, who he was with the Eli Young Band for a long time, and he's a monster guitar player too. So
awesome,
yeah.
Man. Well,
yeah, and then after that, I think Mark Younger-Smith and Heath Clark is going to come down, and
it's going to be a scene, baby.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, so.
Wait,
yeah,
so
it's gonna be great.
Younger Smith is going to come down too and play?
Yeah, he's going to come down and jam with me on the little guitar jam set. So,
do you live in New Orleans?
Well, yes, I do.
Hang out with him there?
Well, he moved back to Texas already.
Oh,
so
really?
so he moved down here, and we were talking and hanging out quite a bit when he was here in New Orleans, and the reason why he moved down to New Orleans, they were starting this big venture, this whole studio thing, and it kind of like got put on hold, obviously, like a lot of things did over the last couple of years. So he, instead of he was thinking about buying a house here. So instead of doing that, he ended up just heading back to Texas and investing his money there, and so he's back in the Central Texas area.
Nice.
So yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, so he's gonna come down. Yeah, it'll be great, man. It's gonna be all kinds of other musicians who aren't playing, who are very successful, are gonna come down and just hang out, like old friends that have been a part of the scene, but that I've never really played music with necessarily, just kind of been around. So yeah. So it'll be cool, man. It's gonna be a scene, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, man. I'm so honored you asked, and just I'm so excited, even getting to see Rachel Vett play.
Yeah.
And
dude,
stuff like that. Getting to see you play.
Right.
Are you going to be playing all night, or are you going to take a break?
No, it was. Excluding Bottle Cap Mountain, who they start at 8, and then Matthew Ostrander starts at 9. I'm going to be probably on stage from about 9:45, 9:50 until about midnight. So yeah.
That's the best way to go to a party. You can be at the party and everyone will be happy that you're there, but you don't have to specifically interact with every single person in a weird way.
Yeah, well, after I'm done at the Western Union Band, they're going to start playing. They're going to back up the guitar jam set, okay. And then they're just going to continue to play. And basically they can play till 2 a.m. if they want to.
It's going to be a long night, baby.
Oh yeah! So after I'm done playing, I'll make the rounds and say hi to everybody and all that kind of stuff. So.
Well, dude, once again, this is Zak Loy turns 40. That's June 15th, next Wednesday, June 15th. Doors at 7, show at 8. Tickets are $25. VIP $75. So many bands. We talked about them all, but the highlights: Dames Violet, Alpha Rev, Mother's Anthem, Lang Freeman from Sounds on the Radio. Do you know that Lang was the second guest on this show?
Oh wow! No way! I didn't know that. That's incredible.
Number 2, yeah.
Oh man!
And
so he actually is inviting the other Sounds on the Radio guys down to play. So this just happened yesterday. I had a band set up for him, and he's like, "Dude, so Bradley his bass player moved up to Seattle,
right?
And he's going to be in town." So he's like, dude, can I have Sonny and Bradley come down and have you play guitar? And of course we lost Doug Wilson.
Yeah.
So that'll be a pretty special and emotional moment for sure. Yeah, as well. So.
Well, dude, I'm really excited about this.
Yeah, man, it's going to be so great.
Yeah, people can get tickets by going to antonesnightclub.com. I'll also put the link in the text of this podcast. But
awesome.
Yeah, I'm really excited. I'm excited to hang out.
Dude. I'm so excited for you to be there and to play some of your songs, man. I mean, you know, this
I'm
is like,
so excited to play with you.
Dude, it's like some of my favorite music, you know. So it's
Thank you, man.
Yeah, oh, dude, I'm over the moon about it for sure, brother.
Me too, man. All right, people, get your tickets at antonesnightclub.com. That's Zak Loy turns 40 Wednesday, June 15th. Good talking to you, man.
Yeah, you too, brother.
All right, that was Zak Loy. Get your tickets for Zak Loy Turns 40, which takes place next Wednesday, June 15th at Antone's. Doors at 7, show at 8, tickets $25, VIP $75. Go to antonesnightclub.com for all of your information about Zak Loy Turns 40. And don't forget the proceeds go to benefit to Cure a Rose Foundation. All right? Great talking to Zak Loy. I love that dude. Go to antonesnightclub.com for all of your Zak Loy Turns 40 needs. All right. Now let's talk to guitar hero, songwriter Eric Johnson, whose brand new albums, The Book of Making and Yesterday Meets Today, come out on July 29th. Now, there's a few singles that are out from the records, including one that you will hear called Sitting on Top of the World. Now, these records, like Eric Johnson goes into some different places, like some real straight up R&B kind of tunes, some real Beatles-ish kind of tunes. He's really stretching out here. And what he did was he had a bunch of songs back in the vault, you know, from when he record records, he'd record more than he put out. So he had ideas and stuff sitting around. So when 2020 hit and everyone got under lockdown, Eric Johnson opened his vault. He started finishing up some tunes, putting them all together, started writing some other tunes. So he put together this gigantic record. It's loaded with hope. It's loaded with optimism. It's loaded with love. Eric Johnson's just a lovely, lovely guy. And we have a great conversation about these records, about his career, about going back out on tour, how excited he is to do that, about doing the G3 tour, how it's been going for 25 years on the cover of Guitar Player magazine. Get out there and check it out. I'm talking about it, man. I'm saying it right now. Steve Vai, Joe Satriani, and Eric Johnson. Okay, get out there and check it out. I was at my grandma's house, so I was in the backyard doing this over Zoom, but it was really, really, really great getting to talk to the great Eric Johnson. He's such a sweet guy, and I think we covered a lot of ground for the short amount of time that we had to talk. So without further ado, please enjoy me and Eric Johnson chatting it up. Let's get down. How are you doing, man?
All right. How are you? Where are you?
I'm in Houston. I'm at my grandma's house in the backyard, hanging out.
Oh, that's
yeah. We've been doing some family hanging. My grandma has just turned 99 the other day. And
wow.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah. It's interesting. It's interesting the sort of like dynamic though of family. What's your family? You have a big family, or you have a?
Yeah, I grew up in a family of 7. My mom and dad and 5 kids.
Wow.
Yeah.
What number are you in the 5 kids?
I'm the youngest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did any of them play before you did, or were you the first one to sort of take up music?
Well, yeah, my oldest sister played flute and piano, and then my other youngest sister, she played piano. The middle sister didn't. She took piano lessons for a while, but didn't really stick with it. My brother and I started taking guitar lessons together, and he kind of dropped it, and I just kept playing.
Can I ask you a weird question? I'm in a band with this guy. I live in Austin, but I'm just in Houston visiting family. But I was telling a bandmate of mine that I was going to be talking to you, and he was like, "Oh, got to ask him about Jimmy Shade." Now, was that your first guitar teacher?
Yeah. Well, he after I took from Wayne Wood, who is a great guitar teacher in Austin. Yeah, Jimmy Shade taught me a lot.
Yeah, and you know what's funny is you're like a born and raised in Austin guy.
I am. I moved elsewhere for a couple of times, but mostly was in Austin.
Where did you move?
In late 70s, I went to New York City for a while, and then in mid '80s, I went to LA for a while.
Okay. It's pretty crazy. Both of those places seem, they've always, I used to have a fantasy about living in New York until one time it just struck me how much work it is just to go do something.
Yeah, it's definitely different.
Yeah.
I don't know. I liked it there. It was a lot going on, a lot of opportunities. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I like Texas. I'm kind of just born and bred Texas. So.
Can I ask you a question? When you went to New York, was that in the time when Les Paul was doing like his weekly residency?
No, actually, it was before that.
Before that? Okay. Did you ever get to play with him?
I did. I got to play with him a couple times and hang out and visit several times and see him play a number of times.
Wow. What does that mean to you? Like, is that something you've never forgotten? Like being in that moment with that master?
No, it was great. He was very, very nice to me and very kind of took me under his wing, and he was just very friendly to me. He actually came out one time. I played in New Jersey near Malawa, and he came to one of my shows and came backstage and hung with us for a long time, and just got to talk to him. It was awesome.
That's so amazing. What a great feeling. Well, man, I don't want to spend too much time in the past. I do want to talk about the Book of Making and Yesterday Meets Today. You're putting out 2 records. Yeah, these are fantastic. And, it's so interesting. There's Floating Through This World, which is has even call and response vocals, which is something I haven't heard in your music.
Yeah, that was something I kind of did, kind of Beatle kind of thing.
Yeah.
That was actually that was a new tune that was one of the there's 7 new tunes on these compilations, and the rest are older.
They're all
Floating is one of the newer ones.
Right. It's interesting because there's a real, some of these songs have a real R&B vibe to them. Which is really, it's interesting to hear you go into that space, and your voice. I've always thought, I saw you play maybe the first time in 1984. And then my mentor is Mark Hallman, and I've known him since I was about 13. Yeah. And so he was always a big fan of yours. I know that you played on that Carole King stuff that he did. Yeah. Your voice to me has developed in this way where it's a lot more commanding than in the early days. Do you agree with that? Yeah.
Well, yeah, I think it's changed a little bit, and I think I'm not really necessarily that great of a singer. I kind of get in my head how I want it to sound, and I just kind of keep working on it till I get there.
Yeah. I've always thought that you're, even on the Tones record, when that came out, on a song like Trail of Tears, the urgency in your voice accents the lyrics of that song so much that I just always thought you had a real great character in your voice.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, man. So these songs, you were saying that some of them you wrote, but the rest of them you have a vault of music?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, and usually whenever I record a record, I usually do 2 records, and then one I kind of say, well, I don't know about this one, and I put one out. So I have a lot of extra stuff.
And did you produce this record yourself? Is that your studio where you do the mini lessons?
Yes.
Okay. Mm-hmm. That's a pretty nice place. You even got the glass behind you and everything?
Yeah, it's a total ground up correct studio with floating walls and floors and stuff.
Wow. So who all played on these records?
Tom Breckline, drums, Roscoe Beck bass, Chris Marsh bass, Bill Maddox drums, Tommy Taylor drums, Kyle Brock bass.
Yeah.
Kevin Hall drums and percussion. Let's see, Ariel sang a song.
Yeah.
Who else? I'm trying to think. That might be about it that I can think of right. Wayne Salzman played drums on some of it.
Awesome. You've played with so many great musicians, and kind of going through all of your history, I'd never heard of Mariani until I was prepping for this podcast. I'd heard of Electromagnets, and I actually went and listened to that stuff. Man, that stuff is it's really awesome.
The Mariani stuff.
Well, no, I didn't hear the Mariani stuff. I just read about it. But the electromagnet stuff, I finally got to hear it in research for this. I saw that you put the stuff up on YouTube. That stuff is really cool, man.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, it's kind of like when the fusion thing was going on. It was a time in Austin. There were a lot of fusion bands in that time, but it was kind of like you. They were doing the country rock or the fusion thing, you know.
Were there was more bands doing that in Austin?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, 47 Times on Way, Star-Crossed, Passenger, Extreme Heat, or it was called Steam at that time. Yeah, there was a number of bands that were doing that.
Was that Mitch Watkins was in Passenger?
He was.
Okay.
Yeah.
Keeping all this history in my head, someday it's going to pop off, but it's also interesting because we're all so intertwined, you know, in that music scene in Austin.
Yeah. When did you come to Austin?
I moved there in 1984 with my mom, but then she died like the next year. I moved to Miami, but I moved back for good in 1991.
Okay.
Yeah. And I actually lived at the Congress House when I moved back there.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, so the one thing that I was noticing is that there was like this band phase, like with Mariani, like you were in a band, and then like Electromagnets, like that was a band, and then sort of chronologically, you were kind of guesting with these other artists like Christopher Cross and Carole King and stuff. When you ended up going out on your own and taking on, like, what made you go as a solo artist and not a band guy? Because one more thought on that is that just the little I've been around you in my life, you seem like a quiet guy and a shy guy, an introspective guy, which doesn't usually, like, that's not usually the character of the solo artist.
Well, you know, that's an interesting question. I think I would have been happy being in a band if there had a band had presented itself where I could write music and play and do my thing.
Right.
At the time, I guess I just kind of struck out on my own. But I would have probably been happy doing that if I'd have still had the same outlet. Yeah. You know, I enjoy playing with Carole and also with Cat Stevens.
Oh, right. Yeah.
I think the thing was with that, I think it's like if you play with somebody and they're able to utilize your talent, and that doesn't mean, you know, go crazy and play lead all the time, but just be able to add a musical dimension to it. It wasn't that Carole didn't want that. It's just she had so many irons in the fire and so many chefs in the kitchen that it really wasn't a place where I could really do my thing. And same with Cat, you know, and, but I enjoyed playing with him. I think if I had been utilized a little more, like in the band Mariani and Electromagnets, I was really utilized a lot. To, you know, do your thing, Eric. You know, and you know, I could have very well kept playing in bands if that had presented itself, and maybe I just decided to, you know, okay, I'll just do my own thing, you know. But it certainly wouldn't have been anything wrong with being in some kind of band. That's for sure. Yeah,
and I didn't realize that Jay Podolnik was in Mariani.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
I also played in a group. Yeah, there's a group called Blind Melon too that Jay sang in with Roger Smith,
that's right.
Who's now Tower of Power and stuff. But yeah, we played in a band together too.
He's always been such a sweet guy. You know,
yeah.
I've always thought, like, it's real. I went to lunch with him a few years ago. It's probably like 10 years ago now. But he just called me up out of the blue and was like, "Hey, let's go hang out. What are you doing?" You know.
Yeah,
he's a good guy like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So another question I had is that there's this sort of like, having seen you at that time, and you know, people that I was around, like Hallman and people like that, were huge champions of you. And like when you got your first deal on Warner Brothers and all that stuff, I was very excited to see that. And I remember you were on the cover of Guitar Player magazine. And I think the title was like, "Who's Eric Johnson? And why is he on the cover of our magazine?"
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Which was fantastic because I'd gone to Miami, you know, and told all these people like, "Oh, you're from Austin." It was Stevie Ray Vaughan. And I was like, "Yeah, there's these other guys too." And then finally Tones came out. What I was going to say is that it's you're a guy that like invented, I don't know if you would say a language, but almost like a colloquialism, a part of a language on guitar. Like you can tell when it's you playing guitar, which is a really difficult thing to do as an artist, is find your voice like that.
Well, that's a good point. Yeah, but I don't know if it's that original. I just took a lot of aspects from people that I love and kind of made it my own thing, and then I tried to hone that into my own unique deal.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I mean, it's pretty amazing, but I can only imagine how odd it must have been to be like in the major label system in the 80s. Like when you did Tones, before, after you did Tones, were people like, hey, we need you to write with Desmond Child or something? You know what I mean? Like,
well, yeah, that's a good point. And I think it's your attitude and your response to those situations. I think I had a little bit of friction and trouble with it because, in retrospect, it would have been, I could have just gone, okay, yeah, let's, try these different things. Because everything, you can make any situation good if your attitude is, well, this is not exactly what I had planned, but we'll make it good.
Right, right.
Rather than, no, that's not my thing, and then kind of buck the system. But I felt like with the Warner things, it took forever to find a producer. And when we went through them, I mean, a lot of them were like, you can't do instrumental music. Your songs are too long. You got to write lyrics for all of them. And you need to go heavy metal, or you need to do this or whatever. And we went through a lot of that. But we finally were able to kind of, David Tickle produced it and did a great job, and we were able to put the pieces together. But, interestingly enough, and then with the Warner thing, they called me in the office after Tones and said, well, you can stay here and make another record, but we prefer you to go elsewhere because we don't know what to do with you. And it ended up working out good because my next record was the bigger record,
right.
Did better. But it's just people have ideas sometimes what they want to do. You have to kind of negotiate with it,
Yeah. It's one of those, it's the, what is it, like the deal with the devil? You got to figure out how you're going to work it,
Right,
but it just seems like what you were doing. And I mean, luckily those people, when you went to Capitol, they were able to hear what you were doing and you were able to shine.
Well, it's interesting. I actually signed with Denny Somack with Cinema Records.
Oh, really?
And he had a deal with Capitol, and so it was a subsidiary of Capitol. So Denny believed in the project along with Abrams, and we made the record. And during the making of the record, Cinema lost their deal with Capitol. But Capitol had invested this money in me, so they couldn't decide whether to just drop the whole thing or to just continue.
Right.
And they said, well, he's so deep into it now, we're going to lose so much money if we just drop the whole thing. Let's just give him a little bit more to put the record out. So it defaulted onto Capitol. And when I originally went to Capitol with the record, they were like, they were kind of pretty lukewarm about the whole thing.
Right.
They were like, well, we defaulted with this record, we'll go ahead and put it out. But there was a guy named Jeffrey Shane that worked for Capitol, and he loved the record, and he wouldn't rest until he made the record successful. So I really pretty much single-handedly at Capitol, he's the guy, and he turned the whole thing around, and it did great. And then all of a sudden, Capitol was very proud of it. Typical record business stuff. But just the way it goes.
Yeah, but you seem like such a, even in your mini lessons, which by the way, they're awesome, and I think it's amazing that you're putting them out there. And if there's any kind of donation, that I go to some kind of food bank. There's you seem to be a person that is so grounded and calm. Is that?
Well, I am. I don't feel as grounded and calm after the 2-3 years of COVID that I did. For some reason, I feel like I'm still trying to find my footing now because I'm kind of coming out of hibernation and stuff. But that definitely is my ideal and something that I like trying to strive for.
Yeah. There was someone I wanted to bring up. Dave Scher is a friend of mine, and I can't, like, I'm astonished at his talent,
Oh yeah.
a lot of the time. And I remember seeing him somewhere, and we were talking, and I was like, Just the fact that you were like, "Hey, come play guitar with me," like what an amazing compliment, to him.
Yeah, he's great. He sings, he plays piano, percussion, guitar, acoustic. Yeah, he's a great guy to have in a band.
I saw in some of the videos, like there was one with you and Roscoe and Brandon Temple. I think it might have been from a G3 thing. And you had a keyboard player on those tours, right?
Stephen Barber.
Oh, yeah. I love Stephen Barber.
Yeah, he was in Electromagnets, actually, but
That's
now he's...
right.
Yeah, but he's a great composer. He composes for the New York City Ballet and does all sorts of orchestral work.
Yeah. Yeah, and what a brilliant musician. Man, that must have been fun.
Yeah.
And this year is the 25th anniversary of the first G3 tour. So
it is.
You guys are all on the cover of Guitar Player magazine.
Exactly. Yeah.
As far as songwriting goes, like I know that some of these songs came from different times. Are you like? Do you have like do you write every day? Do you?
Not every day, but I used to kind of experiment around and see if I can come up with something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you write songs? Like, are you a person that writes a whole song in one sitting, or does that happen sometimes, or do you just kind of like? Carve them out?
That happens sometimes, but usually they're a process, and the best thing I can do is just kind of let them unfold as they naturally do, because if I try to force it, they sound that way.
Right. You follow the song. Yeah. That's always a tough thing to do, because I as a person that likes to have control over what they're doing, I realize that when I let go and follow the songs, like Star Wars stuff, like let go, use the force. You know what I mean?
Right.
Let it flow through you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, you're not going on tour this year for this?
No, not till next year.
Okay. But that's a lot of, it's a long tour. February till October?
Well, no, it's February. It's about 2 months, and then we take a break and then go back out. And
have you not toured since the
March 2020?
Okay.
Yeah.
Were you in the middle of a tour when you came home?
I was.
Where were you?
Yeah. Florida.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you ever get it?
No, I don't. I don't know for sure. I got terribly sick on the way home, and it could have possibly been it, but I don't know. It was back before they had testing kits, and I called the hospitals to say, "Hey, here are my symptoms. Here are my symptoms." And they said, "Oh, it sounds like you don't have it." Of course, they later learned more that symptoms are varied.
Right.
So I don't know. I could have had it. I don't know.
Right.
But I don't really know.
I got it after vaccination. I was okay, but man, that's a really like you're saying, you're getting it together coming out of that time. Like, how did you spent the time working on music, but how did you reckon with all of that psychologically? Like, how did you make it through?
Well, it was tough. I mean, it was so insular and spent a lot of time by myself and stuff. So it definitely kind of changes your perspective a little bit. And so I'm still working on kind of re-leveling out.
Yeah. Well, to me, it was so odd that it was not just this weird lockdown, but then also so much sort of pressure in society, at least American society, for like the, 10 months following, or, even more.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Totally. Yeah.
Like politically, socially, it was just so intense.
Yeah, it was.
But I feel like there was some breakthroughs. I mean, don't you feel like maybe a lot of people, I know that woke is a term that people use, but I feel like there was kind of an awakening in the summer of 2020.
Yeah. Yeah, just you mean because of having to deal with a hardship, you mean?
Well, dealing with the hardship, and then also people were being locked down, and in sort of the wake of the George Floyd murder, and in all of those protests, there were a lot of people that even like me spent time learning what the actual problem was. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I feel like there was some positive stuff that really came out of that.
Yeah, I think that's true.
It's interesting because positivity is definitely like a theme and joy in these two records. You know, I feel like they're uplifting.
Oh, good. Well, that's kind of my intention.
Yeah, yeah. Were you? I don't know. Is that your way of sort of like talking yourself down, or like, you know what I mean? Like,
well, I just figure to me, it's an opportunity to try to make people feel good.
Yeah.
If they're going to spend the time listening to it, I just feel it's an opportunity.
Yeah. So when you go out on tour, are you going to who you taking out as your band? Do you know yet?
Well, it'll probably be Wayne Salzman, Roscoe Beck, and Dave Shear.
Awesome. Dave gets some moments in the show and stuff like that. Is it nice to sort of have that sort of camaraderie guitar-wise?
Yeah, I enjoy his playing, and I also like the opportunity sometimes to play piano and stuff.
Yeah.
Let him play guitar. Yeah.
Did you play guitar first and then learn piano?
No, I played piano first.
Oh, you did? How old were you
Yeah.
when you started playing piano?
I was 5 when I started piano.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And you played the keyboards and stuff on this record, right? On these records.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I had David Grissom on here, and I've had a couple of other guys on here, and I always get these somebody's always mad at me after these interviews because we didn't talk about guitar string gauges and and pedals and stuff. But hopefully you're okay with talking about life.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I mean, you can always say that stuff's on the website. So it's no big deal. Yeah.
How do you stay connected to music? Like, how do you listen to music? Like what?
Well, I like to listen to all types of music. And then sometimes I like to not listen to much, just kind of take a break.
Yeah. But I was just wondering if you do like Spotify, or if you still listen to records or CDs, or.
I have records and CDs, and sometimes I'll listen to satellite radio in the car.
Okay.
Sometimes I'll stream something. Yeah.
Is there anyone that you've heard lately, like in the last year, that sort of has inspired you in some way, like some new artist that's come out?
Some new artist. God, I don't know about in the last year. I mean, I'll probably think of somebody when we finish this. Yeah, there has been. I'm trying to think of.
That's all right. I was just seeing like what is getting different people. I just saw Japanese Breakfast on Saturday Night Live. I was watching the rerun yesterday. I really love that band a lot.
Are they good?
Yeah.
I haven't heard.
Really, really beautiful. And she wrote a book and stuff. I noticed that your record's coming out on CD, LP, and cassette, as well as digital. But cassettes are back.
Well, yeah, I don't know. I think it's kind of a novelty thing, but the Blue Alarm record company wanted to put out cassettes, so maybe people listen to them.
I have a friend that started like a cassette label, and a couple of artist friends of mine that put out both vinyl and cassettes. The cassettes outsold the vinyl.
Are you serious? Really? I didn't even know that. That's awesome.
And I saw. It's funny because you can kind of see those things. Do you know the store Urban Outfitters?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
A few years ago, you'd go into Urban Outfitters and there's like a whole like vinyl section, but now that's just one kiosk, and then they're selling like boom boxes with cassette players in them again. Yeah.
Oh wow, they're back.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Can I ask you? You're known as having pretty discerning ears. What is your favorite sonically? What's your favorite medium on listening to music?
Well, I love records. I mean, they sound so analog. They have a vibe. I spend a lot of time listening to music on digital, though. Some digital recordings sound great to me.
Yeah.
some are a little harsh,
Yeah.
you know, but I think it depends on the music. Vinyl just has a character and a vibe. It makes it kind of more experiential, you know, somehow.
Yeah, well, people can get these. I haven't listened to a cassette in a long time. I haven't had a cassette player in a long time, but I know that people do love CDs. But you like your cars don't come with CDs, your computers don't come with CDs.
Oh, I know.
Yeah,
it's kind of being a way of the. I wonder if cars will start coming with cassette players again.
Well, I bet someone's making a car cassette player.
They probably are. Yeah, I bet they are.
It's probably a cassette player that stands on its own with a Bluetooth connection to your car.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, totally.
Well, man, these records, The Book of Making and Yesterday Meets Today, won't be out until July 29th, but you do have some singles out, Sitting on Top of the World and Love Will Never Say Goodbye. There was another question I wanted to ask you. I'm glad that I came across this. The gorgeous song JVZ. Did you write that for Jeff?
I did. For Jeff
Oh, man, that is so sweet.
Did you know Jeff?
Yeah, I knew Jeff well. He's a fun guy, man. I loved him.
Oh, well, that's nice. Yeah.
Yeah, he came out and ran sound and tour managed my band for a few days of a tour when our guy went out. And and that was like 24 years ago. But that was when I really became friends with him. He's a person that could make me laugh like howl with laughter.
Yeah, no, he was great. He was a great guy.
Yeah. Well, it's a gorgeous tribute to him. Really.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, I know that would mean so much to him, and just like, I love some of these songs I want to talk about that are so gorgeous on this record. Hold On to Love, which is just it's just an awesome jam.
Well, thanks.
Yeah. Well, people can get out there and find you at ericjohnson.com. They can check out these singles. You have those, what were those, the oil light videos kind of things, like from the 60s that you have some videos out that are really cool like that. Yeah.
Been doing that. It's been kind of fun.
Yeah. And people should check out anybody that plays guitar, those mini lessons. The one, there was one where you were talking about using the pentatonic, and when you're playing an E, you can play in F sharp, or you can play in C sharp. That just opened up my eyes. There was also a voicings one that you did that I was like, oh yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
well, I'm glad.
Yeah, very inspiring.
Oh, well, thanks, John. Thank you, man.
Yeah. Well, man, I've really enjoyed talking to you, and
you too.
Yeah, I can't wait to see you again. I've seen you so many times. I was going through it in my head over the last few days. I realized that I saw Alien Love Child a lot. You had a residency at Antone's for a while with that?
Yeah.
I'm sure I went for like a month straight.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So what band do you play in?
I'm in a band called Skyrocket, but like in the 90s.
Oh,
yeah. With
yeah. Do you sing in that band?
There's a bunch of us that sing. Trish Murphy, Darren Murphy, we all kind of trade the singer.
I've heard that the vocals in that band are just killer.
Oh, man. You know what?
Yeah.
When those guys hear this, they're going to freak out, dude.
No, I have heard that because, what was that group? Suede?
Yes.
Yeah. It's Skyrocket kind of like Suede, right?
Right, but we play a little bit more like super hits of the 70s and 80s. Yeah.
Well, but I've heard Suede, you know, and the singing they always had was really great. And I've never had a chance to hear Skyrocket, but everybody said, oh, man, you got to hear Skyrocket.
Yeah,
Their vocals are yeah.
Oh,
I'd love to come out to a show sometime.
Well, man, we would love to have you. But I know we did some stuff. I remember doing some New Year's at Steamboat where Stephen and Tommy and Will, Stephen Doster and Tommy and Will Sexton did their Monsters. And I remember you coming out and playing.
Oh, were they doing their Beatles gig, or was it Will's gig?
I can't remember. It was so long ago. But I have to tell you, it's been a real pleasure watching you for so long, and it's just been a real treat. I'm glad to have been witness to you from before even Tones came out and stuff, and getting to talk to you now and stuff is a real honor.
Well, thank you, John. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for doing this interview.
Well, yeah, thank you for doing it. The Book of Making, Yesterday Meets Today, they'll both be out July 29th. The singles, Sitting on Top of the World and Love Will Never Say Goodbye, are available now. Go to ericjohnson.com for all of your Eric Johnson needs. Thank you so much, man.
You got it. My pleasure. Thanks for
I look
having
forward
me.
to talking to you again.
I hope so. Okay, see you, John.
All right.
Enjoy it. Bye.
All right, that was Eric Johnson. His albums, The Book of Making and Yesterday Meets Today, come out on July 29th. Go to ericjohnson.com for all of your Eric Johnson needs. What a great, great conversation. I really enjoyed talking to that guy, man. What a nice guy. I think he's going to come out and see a Skyrocket show, so that'll be exciting. Eric Johnson, baby. Check out, I hope you like this song, Sitting on Top of the World. You can get out there and find it. There's some other songs available now. Get out there to ericjohnson.com for all of your Eric Johnson needs. I would like to thank his manager, Max, and his publicist for being so nice and setting all of this up, and for him being patient and me doing it at my grandma's backyard. That was crazy, right? And don't forget, gang, get your tickets for Zak Loy Turns 40 at Antone's Nightclub. That takes place next Wednesday, July 15th, 2022 at Antone's here in Austin. Go to Antone'sNightclub.com for your tickets. And gang, don't forget, when you're out there checking out Antone'sNightclub.com or checking out EricJohnson.com, don't forget that you can subscribe to this podcast wherever it is that you find podcasts. 2, sometimes 3 shows a week. You never know, man. From the Vault episodes, share it, follow us, leave a rating. Let us know what you're thinking. Follow us on Facebook. How did I get here on Facebook? And you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter. I'm at Johnny Gowdy. Have a great weekend, whatever it is you're doing. Here's the rest of this song, Sitting on Top of the World, by the great Eric Johnson. Have a great weekend. Let's get down.